Okay, let's talk a little bit now about the history of hairspray. Now, prior to the 1950s, there were various different setting lotions and pomades that were designed to keep the hair in place after styling. But following World War II, new advances in chemical technology and specifically aerosol technology made hairspray possible. And hairspray really revolutionized the hairstyling game. Now, hairstyles in the 1950s really revolved around curls and curling the hair. So a lot of those early hairsprays were designed to do just that. Hold your curls in place. And a lot of those early hairsprays were called like spray net, or usually had the word net in the name because they acted like a hairnet holding your hair in place. And a lot of different hairsprays entered the market at that time. But as we move into the 1960s, those gigantic bouffant and beehive hairstyles really took hairspray to a whole new level. And these styles really required quite a lot of hairspray in order to stay in place. These hairstyles took a lot of work to maintain. The hair had to be set in rollers and then dried, and then it needed to be brushed out and teased, and then finally the hair could be sprayed in place. So obviously, if you're going to put in that much work to achieve a hairstyle, you needed a heavy-duty hairspray to ensure that your style was going to last, longer than a day or two. So a lot of these hairsprays from the 1960s were very, very heavy duty. They really, really held the hair in place. They kind of acted almost like a lacquer on the hair and made the hair so stiff that a lot of times it couldn't move. Sometimes they even had different color hairsprays. So you could spray your hair a different color. Some of them had sparkle or shimmer in it. And this really was just the era of hairspray. They really went with those colossal hairstyles of the time. And you saw a lot of different brands of different hairsprays, all promising that kind of heavy-duty hold, and basically your hair didn't move in those days. It was essentially stiff as a board. But that's what you needed in order for your hairstyle to last. Here we see some ladies getting their hair styled in a salon. Here's a hairstylist using hairspray on someone getting their hair done. But by the mid-60s, free-flowing and more natural hairstyles started to become more popular. So you saw hairspray use kind of change, and especially as we move into the 1970s, people wanted a more flexible hold that you could actually run a brush through or run your fingers through. Also, environmental concerns, kind of came out at that time, and people were concerned about the effects of aerosols, entering the atmosphere and putting holes in the ozone layer. So you started to see, non-aerosol hairsprays be developed. But then as we move into the 1980s, again, big curly hair once again came into fashion. And, again, if you want to have big hair, you need some heavy-duty hairspray to hold it in place. And you saw different brands like Bold Hold, of course, the famous Aquanet, and Rave, again, that were designed to really keep your big, curly, poofy hairstyle in place. Final Net was another one that was very, hard holding, very heavy-duty, So hairspray, again, became very, very popular in the 1980s. Here's an ad featuring Victoria Principal for Germac. Again, Aquanet, probably one of the most famous hairsprays, along with Rave. Those are two hairsprays that are still available today. People still use them. But then as we move into the 90s, again, more natural, kind of free-flowing hairstyles came back into fashion. So again, you wanted a hairspray that was a little more flexible and more of a natural hold. And that's kind of continued on to the present day.